Good afternoon, students. I think that I have to do this to assist you in writing your long essay. I titled this long essay writing, What You Need to Know. So the presentation is by Kehinde Adigbite. Now, there are basic rules that you need to know about writing long essay. Because over the years, in my years of supervising different supervisees, I realized that students make a lot of mistakes. And in order to minimize or eradicate these mistakes, I consider a presentation like this to be necessary. So you need to note all these basic rules in writing your long essay. As students, as learners, you have to know that you must not plagiarize. Plagiarism is an academic crime. It's like stealing. So you must not plagiarize. You must not do copy and paste. You must not do copy and paste by just getting materials online and be copying them and pasting them and say you are and claim that you are writing a long essay. No, that is not appropriate. That is unacceptable. You must not just go online and dub another person's work, just copy everything, no difference, and present it as your work. It's totally unacceptable. It's plagiarism. You must not also hire anybody to write this long essay for you. You must not also buy it, because some of you buy topics already developed by some other people. They call them freelancers or something like that. You must not do that. These are academic crimes that you must not engage in. You have to make your work original. Original. That's the essence of all the learning you have acquired from your part 1 to part 5. So the essence is a test. This long essay is a test of what you have learned. And that is why you are given the liberty to choose a topic that you want. You would have developed interest for some of the things you've been taught in Nigerian legal system, criminal law, family law, human rights, Islamic law, and so on. So is to test is an opportunity for you to express yourself, put your knowledge into practice. But you will not put it into practice if you consult another person to do it for you, or you copy what some other people have done. So how will you also contribute to knowledge if you cannot make personal effort to write your own thing so that others can cite you in future research? So it's a thing of pride if you're able to do that. But it's a thing of shame if you don't do that, if your work is not original, if it's not a representation of your own opinion on different areas of law. It may be death penalty, it may be abortion, it may be murder, it can be anything, it can be any crime that you wish that, okay, this is your view on it. So, dear students, this is important. Having said that, let me also tell you that you have to comply with writing guidelines of your school. It's important. If you don't comply with writing guidelines of your school, your long essay may be unacceptable. For instance, you may be required to use a particular font size. I will illustrate that later. The one we normally use for legal writing is Times New Roman. Times New Roman is the one we normally use. So make sure you use it. And in terms of line spacing, I will also illustrate that with a document later. It has to be double line spacing. And the size has to be 12. Number of pages for your LLB long essay is usually 70. Don't let it be less than 70. It could be more than 70, but it shouldn't be less than 70. But don't let it be up to 200 pages. 200 pages is just too much. So, but if you make it 120, 100, it's okay, it's acceptable, but not less than 70 pages. So, referencing style, Oscola is the recommended referencing style that we use. So, I will also illustrate that. I will give further information on that as I proceed. You have to comply with your supervisor's instructions as well. Whatever your supervisor tells you to do, please make sure you comply, because this is somebody who knows more than you. And that is why the person has been appointed to supervise your project, your research. Now, after your topic has been approved and given to you, before you start any research work, okay, let me put it this way: before you start writing, gather materials relevant to your topic. Your topic can be abolition of death penalty in Nigeria, or the application of death penalty or death sentence under the Nigerian law. So that may be your topic. Then you gather materials related to that. You can gather textbooks, you can gather internet sources, you can gather journals, you can get newspapers, things like that. You read them up before you start anything. You have to gather materials and read them up. But again, I must also tell you that there are materials that are respected in legal research, and there are materials that are considered unreliable. So textbooks, law textbooks, they are good materials. Journals, law journals, they are good materials. Internet sources, especially internet sources written by lawyers, qualified professionals, you can use them. Newspapers, online or offline, you can consult them. Then you can consult relevant statutory and judicial laws, judicial authorities. Now, still talking about basic rules that you have to make sure that you note them and you comply with them in the course of your legal research or long essay writing. Don't use unreliable sources of information like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not considered to be reliable and to be credible in legal research. So don't avoid Wikipedia, because information on Wikipedia is usually subject to editing, and anybody can edit it. Anybody can dump information on Wikipedia. So don't use Wikipedia, and don't use blogs. We have so many blogs now, even including some law blogs. Some people call their blogs law blogs, but they are lawyers who haven't gotten experience. Some are not even lawyers, and they write topics on laws based on information they gathered from different sources. So those ones are not considered to be credible and reliable for the purpose of legal research. Don't use information on, don't rely for the sake of this legal writing on social media information. Social media information, I'm not saying everything you read on social media is not true, but it can be unreliable, it can be fake. So it's better you have other sources that are respected, which I've mentioned earlier. Just keep to those ones. Proofread your work before you submit to your supervisor. It's an important rule that you have to comply with. Then type your work properly and number your pages correctly. Some people will type their work, they will not justify their paragraphs, and they will just send everything scattered to supervisors that way. That is wrong. It gives impression that you are lazy and you are not ready to do your work, and you don't expect the supervisor to take over your work and do it for you. So the supervisor is to guide you, but make the supervisor job less tedious, and let the supervisor be endeared to whatever you submit as your effort. Again, you can consult approved long essays in the faculty in your school for further guidance in case there are things that are not clear to you. Okay, now, having said all this, let's move to chapterization. I believe you must have read some materials related to your approved topic. Then you now come to the level of preparing your chapters, the chapters of the work that you want to do. For LLB long essay, you have 5 chapters to write. 5 chapters. I will use a particular work to illustrate this. You have 5 chapters, chapter 1 to 5. Chapter 1 is usually fixed. Chapter 1 is already fixed. Then chapter 5 is also fixed. But your chapter 2, 3, and 4, those are the chapters that will really contain the body of your real research, where you'll be able to express yourself as you want and cite materials accordingly. So let me move to table of contents of this work to illustrate the way you are supposed to do your chapters. I will take from chapter 1 what you are supposed to have under your chapter 1. Under your chapter 1, which is, you title it this way, the way it's appearing on the screen, chapter 1, general information. Then you have, under the chapter 1, you have background of the research. It can also be called background of the study. So you have that. I will advise that when you read some projects, you will know what should be the content of your background of the research. Time will not permit me to go into that. Then you also have your statement of the research problem. You have your aim and objectives. It's not aims and objectives the way these students put it. So let's delete that S. It has to be aim and objectives of the study. Then you have research methodology. That has to be there. Then you have significance of the study. You have structure of the study. These 1 to 6, they are important, they are germane. So this definition of terms is optional. You may have it and you may not have it, but make sure you have 1 to 6 in your work. That is what you are going to do in your chapter 1. Then chapter 2, literature review for your LLB long essay is not really recommended. It's not something that is that important. Literature review is not that important. So you can do away with literature review in your chapter 2. It is when you get to master's level, that is LLM, or you are doing your PhD in law, that you will need literature review in your chapter 2. But for the purpose of LLB long essay, you don't need literature review. So don't bother yourself. Just go straight to the content of what you want to write in your work. So as you are developing your chapters, then your chapter 2, you can put something different from this. For instance, if you are doing abolition of death penalty in Nigeria, you can have in your chapter 2 history of death penalty in the Nigerian legal system, or in the Nigerian judicial system. You can have that as the heading of this chapter 2, and under it, then you break it down. You have sub chapters and subtopics under that chapter 2. You have subtopics to make up the content of chapter 2. Then you move to chapter 3. You continue with your work in chapter 3. In chapter 4, you continue with your work. Then in chapter 5, that is where you are going to have, this one is fixed, just like chapter 1 is fixed. You are going to have summary, conclusion, and recommendations. These are the 3 contents that will make up chapter 5 of your work. Then once you are done with chapter 5, then you move to bibliography. Bibliography is a compilation of all the materials that you have used, all the materials you have consulted. As I said, research materials like the books, textbooks, journals, newspapers, internet sources, laws. Those are the things that will make up your bibliography. Once you've done that, you are done with your research work. But now there is still more that you need to know. So I come back to the beginning of this work. This work, for instance, your first page, make sure your first page is arranged this way. And when you check this up, this has to be Times New Roman. You can see it here. When you come to, you can see the cursor here. This is Times New Roman. That is the font size that you have to use. And this has to be 12, not 14. This particular one is 14 and it's wrong. It has to be 12. You pick 12. The size has to be 12. So if you check it up, this is 12. It's no longer, I'm trying to highlight it so that, you can see now. So I have highlighted this. So let's check. It has to be 12. So I've changed this to 12. So it has to be 12. That is the approved size for legal research. All these font size, this is Times New Roman 2, which is correct. Throughout, everything has to be Times New Roman and it has to be 12. So this is the first page and you provide this information. Being a long essay submitted to the Faculty of Law in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the award of the Bachelor of Laws, LLB, degree of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, Nigeria. Okay, so you come to this one. Another page is certification. Make sure you have this. This is not optional. It has to be in your long essay. So then you have acknowledgements. Acknowledgement is not compulsory, but it's advisable that you have it. You have people who have contributed to your academic journey, one way or the other, your parents, God Almighty, if you believe in God, and all that. You have it contained in your acknowledgement. Acknowledgement should be spelled, it should have S. If you spell it without the last S, is wrong. It has to be acknowledgements. Acknowledgements. So, but I think the spelling should also be checked up. I don't think this E has to be there, but I'm not too sure for now. So, but you can also check that on your own. So let me leave that. And list of abbreviations. Yes, you you do that. Any word that you have abbreviated in the body of your research, make sure you spell any abbreviation you have used, rather, make sure you spell it out under this. Make sure you list everything here. If you use ICPC, for instance, you have to put the full meaning of ICPC. Like this particular student's full meaning of ICPC does not include Code of Conduct Bureau. So I'm deleting that. Is Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission. That's what ICPC and other related offenses commission. Make sure you don't mislead people by the meaning you give to abbreviated words. ICT means information and communication technology. Yes, but let everything be in, especially so you do that. So let me move from list of abbreviations to something else. So this is table of statutes. I think it's preferred to be called, it's better you call it list of statutes. List of statutes instead of table of statutes. So just like you are going to have list of, so list of statutes, it should be list of statutes, not table of statutes. That is for that. So you, all the statutes you have used locally and internationally, list them under this page. Then you come to list of cases. This has to be list of cases, not table of cases. List of cases. So all the all the cases you have cited in the work, you list them here. Let all the cases appear here that you have cited in the, and make sure you provide. For instance, this particular case is highlighted here: Federal Republic of Nigeria versus or against Chimalari Ikonji and Blessing Onoche. The student failed to provide the citation. So make sure in your own work that you provide the citation. So let there be full citation so that when anybody is using or consulting your research work at any time, your research work can actually be helpful. So somebody can get a case from your research work for further research and get the full information. For instance, this case, if I want to use it now for any purpose, maybe in case I want to use it to handle a case in court, or I want to cite it in any research, it's not helpful because I don't have the full citation. So let your full citation be there. I will say something about using italicizing cases, cited cases. I will say that later, but not now. So make sure you supply full information about the cases cited in the work. Don't include cases that you didn't cite in your work on this list. Don't do that because that will be dishonesty. If you just fill this page up with cases, whereas you don't use those cases in the body of your work, it's wrong. So I come to table of content. Table of content, you have your title page, you have your certification, which we have seen above, you have your acknowledgements, you have your list of abbreviations, list of statutes, list of, I have corrected this earlier, that it should be list of statutes. This should be list of cases. And then you have table of content, abstract. I will say something about abstract. It is important that you write your abstracts accordingly, properly, the way it should be written. I think after this, let me move to abstracts. This is abstract of this particular work. So as I said, abstract, as I said before, that your font size must be Times New Roman. If I highlight this work now, it will be shown that it's Times New Roman. I'm trying to highlight it. Okay. I want to highlight the, okay. Now, I think I've done that. So this is showing that it's Times New Roman and the size is 12. Now, you have this abstract is usually made up of 4 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs. Let's look at it. This is paragraph 1. This is paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 starts with this study relied on. Then paragraph 3 starts from taking cue from the available literature, then paragraph, the final paragraph following the above submissions. That is the four paragraphs that make up the abstract. Let's delete keywords. We don't need keywords in this type of abstract. So this is abstract. Your abstract is usually on a page, and it shouldn't be more than 500 words. Let's not your abstract be more than 500 words of four paragraphs. So each paragraph has what should be written in it. Your first paragraph, that's where you are going to capture your aim and objectives. That's what you are supposed to write in your first paragraph. In your second paragraph, you have to capture your research methodology in your second paragraph. In your third paragraph, you have to capture your findings, your research findings. And in the last paragraph, it has to be your conclusion. Has to be your conclusion. So that is how you have to do your work. And for your abstracts, don't do double line spacing. It should be single line spacing. Let me show you what I mean by single line spacing with this. I'm trying to highlight it so that I think the key of this laptop is 40. So, and that's why it's not capturing, but I will try to do it now. So I've done it. So now we check the line spacing now. You can see that it's 1.0 here. So it's single line spacing. Single line spacing. That's what you will do for abstracts. An abstract must not contain any citation, any footnotes. So just one page of four paragraphs, 500 words. So that is what you are going to do for abstracts. Then you start your work here. This is chapter 1. This is, as we said before, general introduction. So now, let me also tell you that you can do, this is where you can now do footnotes. Your work must have footnotes. If you are writing and there is no footnotes, that means you are not acknowledging sources of your information, because everything you are going to write in about 70 pages, you cannot claim that everything comes from your head, that you have the custody of every information. You must have read books, you must have consulted journals, you must have consulted internet sources, newspapers. So you have to acknowledge this. That is intellectual and academic honesty. It's an ethic of research that you have to comply with. So, but the question is, how do you do your footnotes referencing? Now, this is how to do it. You can see that, okay, let me put cursor in ICT here. Assuming I want to provide further information on ICT, or let's say ICT system. So I put cursor in front of system here. Then I will now come to, there are different ways of doing these footnotes, but I will teach you two ways that are good for you to use. Because if you don't do it properly, it won't give you the desired results that you are supposed to have. So I come to reference here. I come to reference. So what I'm going to do is I will just click on insert footnote. You can see it. You can see where I highlighted blue here. So I will just click on it, insert footnote. You can see one. It has inserted it. So I can now provide further information on ICT. I can say ICT is the modern technology. I can put it that way, which has helped, which has facilitated free flow free flow of information globally. So let's just put it that way for the sake of explanation. So now what I put here now, if you go up, if you scroll up to look for one where one appears, what I wrote in the footnote must appear. If you bring the cursor here, it must appear. You can see it that it's appearing. ICT is the modern technology which has facilitated free flow of information globally. So this means that I have done the footnotes properly. If I don't do it properly, it won't appear. If you do it manually, if you don't use that method, it won't appear. So that is how to do footnote. So you can see that it's appearing here. So when you submit your work to me electronically, I will check it on laptop. So because what I tell my supervisors to do is they will first submit their work, whatever they are doing, to me electronically. Then I will look at it. They will submit soft copy to me. I will look at it so as to cross check that their work is properly done. Not that you print it and I won't be able to cross check all these things. So you have to know how to do this footnote. Okay, let me delete this footnote and use another method to do it. I've taught you the first method. Let me use another method now. Another method is to put the cursor here and to now click on Control Alt F. Control Alt F. So it's the same. It has given me one. So if I type here now, anything I type here, and you go back to one, you will see it. Let's scroll up. I just typed anything there for the sake of illustration. So you can see that it's showing there. So I'm deleting it. So that is how to do footnotes, to generate your footnotes. So footnote is important. You cannot do research without, especially legal research, without putting footnote. That is what we use. We don't use reference in the text. There is another referencing style. The referencing style that we use in legal research is Oscola, and that is the way it is done. There is another method. For instance, if you cite somebody, if you are reading maybe it's research in social science, for instance, they can say Kehinde, 2022. So this is a reference, but this is not the referencing style that we use in legal research. So don't use this kind of style. Don't use it. It's not acceptable. So I'm deleting it. You must not use this. You must use the footnote. That is what you should use. Now, let me look at the footnotes of this particular candidate further. Now, I'm looking for the footnote of this student. Okay, let's see. This student has done one here. Okay, this is Okeshola F and Adeta. Hey, the nature, causes, and consequences of cybercrime in tertiary institutions in Zaria, Kaduna State, Nigeria, 2013. Okay, this is gotten from American Journal of Contemporary Research. You can see that this American Journal of Contemporary Research is italicized. That is the way it should be. You italicize the title of journals. Title of journal. You can see, how do you do it? How do you italicize? It's very simple. Just come to home here. You can see that it shows that it's already italicized. That's why this I stands for italic. So, but if you click this, it will unitalicize it. So it has removed the italic, but it has to be in italic. So I will do it again. I will return it back to italic, so that that's the way you should do your own too. So I click on it, so it has italicized it. So you have to provide this information. Now let me also tell you that in your footnotes, you know that in the body of the work we use Times New Roman. That is the font type that we use. But in the footnotes, you can use Calibri. Calibri. So if I highlight it now, it's showing Calibri here. This is the font type that you use for footnote. Is Calibri that you are going to use for footnotes. And the size is 10, not 12 again. Not 12. Different from the body of the work. For footnote is 10. And the font type is Calibri. And the line spacing is single line spacing. Single line spacing. Can you see? 1.0 here is single line spacing. Now, let me also demonstrate this double line spacing to you one again. Now, if you highlight this line, some lines here, you will know that is double line spacing. I'm trying to highlight it. This key is okay. It has captured it. Now, how will I know, be sure that this is double line spacing? You will just come to this place. Come to this place. You can see the cursor here. You can see 2.0 here. So it's double line spacing. That's how it should be. Assuming it is not in double line spacing, assuming it is in single line spacing. This is single line spacing. So, but if I want to turn it to double line spacing, I will just highlight whatever I want to turn to double line spacing. I will come to this place and click on double line spacing. You see, I do that. Then alternatively, given the fact that it was formerly in double line spacing and I change it to single line spacing, you can come to this here, you can bring cursor to this right hand side here and click on this thing. It will undo anything that I've done before. So that is that. Then again, if you are using internet source, you have to supply the information accurately. This candidate did it well. This candidate gave us the name of the writer or names of the writers and gave us the title of their writing and the journal where it was published, the page, and where it can be found online. If it is available online, then you have to provide the web address, the URL. If we click on this one now, if I go, let's try it. Let me use the internet. I think I want to demonstrate that, because if you say you consult anything online and you provide the online source for me, I will cross check. That is why you have to submit your projects to me in soft copy before I approve your work. So because these are some of the checks I will do. You know, when I started, I gave you some of the rules that you have to comply with. In case if you violate some of those rules, there are ways I can check when you submit your work to me by soft copy, because you will send your work to my email. For instance, if you had gone online to copy, I can do some checks and I will know. And those are the people that I don't usually approve their projects, because they have engaged in things they're not supposed to do. So I want to check whether this source actually exists online. This is what I would do. I can copy this link. I can copy this link like this. I will copy it like this. I copy it and I open browser. I'm using Chrome. Let me use okay. Let me see if I can be able to do that with what I'm doing now. So I will just let me see if I open Chrome. I will just enter it. I believe Chrome is showing. This is how I will do it. I will just enter this like this, and it will bring the internet has disconnected. Let me connect again. I'm trying to do that. Okay, it's connecting. Okay, I think it has connected. Okay, can you see? It has opened the page. It has opened the material. So it shows that this candidate was honest and he did the work the way it should be done. So now, if you also want to use this web address, this is how to do it. Just copy it, click on it, click on the address. This is address bar. Click on it and copy it. You know how to copy now. Control C. Click on Control C. You copy it. Then you come to your work. Let's open the work again. This is the work. You just paste it there. Peep, it's already there. Then you have to supply us the date when you access the information online. This candidate put accessed on 4 May 2019, and you should put full stop at the end of 2019. So that is how you do for every information you get online. So I think there is another thing I need to explain before. So I have told you that you have to acknowledge every source of information that you get elsewhere. It's important. Let me see. I think I need to do something about how to quote. How to quote when you have reason to quote any information, how you are supposed to do your quotation. I'm looking for where I can find that in this work. Like, okay, let me also use this to explain something again. This candidate did not do this one properly, did not give us enough information for this internet source. This candidate did not tell us the author's name or the editor's name, did not tell us the title of the book before supplying the URL, the web address. So this candidate omitted that, and that is wrong. It's not good. I'm coming. Okay, I think I've seen what I have. Now, what this candidate did here, this is not quotation. This is actually it can be called quotation, but quotation marks are not supposed to be used for this purpose. Now, what this candidate did here is good, but it's not, the candidate did not totally get it. This candidate copied this information, which is like, you are copying somebody verbatim, which is allowed. The way the owner must have written it from whatever source you are getting it from. So, but you don't need to italicize this. You don't need to italicize. So I'm going to unitalicize it. So you don't need to italicize it, but you indent it the way this candidate has indented it. You must know how to indent. Let me do one for you to show you how to indent. When you are quoting somebody, when you are quoting verbatim for more than 3 lines, you have to indent. You have to indent it. But if it is not up to 3 lines, you have to use quotation mark. You don't need to use indentation. Assuming I'm quoting these words from this place, let me highlight it. I'm coming. Assuming this is all I'm quoting, all I have to do is these 2 lines that I've highlighted. What all I have to do is just put the quotation mark. Where are the quotation mark now? Okay, I've gotten it. So you just put the quotation mark and you now reference it. You have to reference it. I've told you how to do your footnotes earlier on, so don't forget that. So, or you can rewind to listen to that again. So this is how to quote when you use the quotation marks if what you want to quote verbatim is not more than 3 lines. But where you are quoting 4 lines, then you have to indent it. I will teach you how to indent. I'm coming. So this is I have told you you don't italicize. Where you use italics is when you are citing cases or when you are using foreign words or any local language. You can italicize. Let me also, this is a paragraph. Assuming I want to, this paragraph is like 5 lines. Assuming I want to italicize this is what I will do. I will bring the cursor here. I will do it like this. I will do it like this. I will do it like this. You can see what I'm doing. Then I'll come to this side again. Do it like this. Oh, this one is giving me some problem. Okay. Let me undo this. I will go and I will. I have undone this, but that is how to do it. Let me try another one, whether this one will work. You see, at times, if you are not the one that typed a document from the beginning, it can be okay. Let me try from this side first. I will get it. I've done this side. So let me do this side too. It's because some of my keys are. So let me put it here. Okay. I have done the indentation. This is indentation. So I have indented this now because this one is more than 3 lines. But after you have indented like this, then you also have to give us the footnotes. So you do the footnotes because you are quoting somebody verbatim. Verbatim is you are reproducing it word for word what another person has said. But when you are doing this, let me also add this. Normally we do double line spacing, but for this indented words or paragraph, you reduce it, or lines, you reduce it to 1.5. 1.5. This is 1.5. You bring it to 1.5. Okay, I will undo what I've done here so that because I just did it for the purpose of illustration. So I have done that. I have told you that you use italics for cases in the body of the work. You use italics for foreign words. You use italics for local language. For instance, if you make use of Yoruba language in the body of your work, which you must, of course, interpret in English or translate to English. So I think these are the things that I need to explain in the course of your legal research, which you have to pay attention to and make sure that you do them appropriately and accordingly. I've told you how to do your cases, that your cases has to be italics, and just make sure that you arrange your work accordingly, and make sure that let me quickly say something here. I'm coming. In this place, in your table of contents, make sure that your numbering it's accurate. For instance, you said title page is Roman figure 1. So if I check it, it must be there. Let me come to chapter 2, for instance. You said your background of the research or background of the study, it should be background of the study. Let's put it, background of the study. You said it's on page 1. When I check page 1, this must be there. If I check page 1 and it's not on page 1, it's on page 2, that means you have done your pagination wrongly. You have to redo it. Statements of the research problems must also be in everything that you have under the table of contents. The numbering that you put in front of them must correspond in the body of the work accordingly and accurately. So if anything is not correct, then it is wrong. I think this is all I have to tell you in this presentation. If I have omitted anything, then I may do a follow-up video. But I think with this you can start your work. But as I told you, don't start writing unless you have consulted materials, you have read, and you have gathered information, you have developed yourself further on your chosen topic before you start writing. That's when you can write something meaningful. That's when you can develop your chapters fully, because if you don't have information, you won't be able to. And that's what will help you to do away with plagiarism. So I wish you all the best. Thanks for your attention. Bye.